What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the NRS Pro Series. This week we're going to go to Granbury, Texas. We're going to spend some time with Rhett Baker. Now Rhett, he's a horseman, he's a roper. He's placed in the open limited bridle, some of that kind of stuff. He's also placed at the rope horse fraternity. So the things that he does, they cross a lot of disciplines. So what we're going to do with Rhett is it's going to be a long video. It's 30 minutes. 30 minutes of Rhett. He takes a colt, puts some groundwork on him, and then he actually puts a second or third ride on this colt. So you're going to want to stay tuned.
I'm Rhett Baker. We're here at my house in Granbury, Texas. Gonna work some 2-year-olds. Got the guys from NRS here. Gonna see what we can get done. And he's pretty good to deal with. He's just he's got a lot of move. He's a really good athlete, so he's a little bit more of a thinker and kind of harder to get to at first than some that were just, you know, babysat or kind of raised in the backyard, so to speak. So right there, I'm just trying to get him to hook like he did right there and finally come to me. Let down just a little bit. He's still gonna be fresh and playful, but if I can get him to hook to me, and I can get my hands on him and start doing some more groundwork stuff. The first thing I want to teach him is just that I can send him where I want him to go. So I'm just gonna push him. I would like him to stay shaped to the inside with his ear on me, all the while going forward, because we need him to go forward and around. Right there, he's still on the wrong lead and kind of jacking around, so we'll just play with him here a little bit. Man, to me it does. I don't make it a big deal because I don't want to start any problems, but if they're crossfiring, especially once they get once they get a little bit more of the fresh off where they're thinking, like right there, he's crossfiring, he switched up front. Now I'll just put a little pressure on him until he switches. And if he would give there, he got soft. As soon as his ribs give, they'll usually go on the correct lead. So if they'll give me their ribs like that, they'll usually swap leads pretty naturally if they're athletic. I just want that shape, the same shape we're going to want loping circles when they're finished. A little bit of shape to the inside, head and neck in a little bit. I really just want him to get in a frame of mind where I can teach him something. Still a little bit reactive, and I'll go to that flag in just a minute and get his mind all the way with me. So I really don't think you can teach them anything until they learn to be taught. You know, they kind of have to create some thought process where they want to be with you. You know, if they're running around with their head over the round pen and trying to climb out, there's very little chance, in my opinion, that you're gonna have a successful ride on them because they don't even want to be with you, you know. So like this flag, a lot of people have different ways of using it. I just use it kind of as a, I don't know, not necessarily desensitizing, but I just want to move it all over and make sure that they accept it. Put some pressure on them and see if they'll just accept it and trust me. Because that's really all I'm trying to get him to do, is trust me. He's a pretty good colt, takes it all pretty well. At the same time, like I said, I don't want him numb to it. I want to be able to move him off and move his shoulder there. You know, I don't want him to be so numb that he doesn't respond, but I don't want him to be scared of it either. But I really don't want to creep around him. Just want to use it like a tool so that he understands nothing to be scared of, but at the same time, you need to be reactive to it. When I'm first starting them, some people use a surcingle. You know, a lot of people use different things, but I'll just use a cotton rope and try and put it around their belly and make sure that I can get them to give to it. Got all kinds of ropes going on now. Get my So all that pushing him around I just did right there is going to be very similar to me on him, you know, trying to push a shoulder, push a hip, which is all going to come later in his life, but he needs to understand pressure and release even off of my hand. You know, right here he needs to be able to get away and move off of a feel. But I'll just start him right here and pulling that rope a little bit, make him feel it around his belly. I can use it to drive him. See kind of what his thoughts are about it. And this colt's not real bronky. He's pretty gentle, but I want him to look to me for release, you know, where I can get him. You know, he's done this some. I can step to the side and almost lead him off of that, you know, just off of his belly there, so that he's always looking to me for some relief. Just stepping to the side to kind of take him off balance and make him think about it a little bit. You can do the same thing with a front foot. If they're real wild, I do that. There he goes. I just want to get him where he's soft, responsive, and looking to me. You know, his eyes soft. He's thinking about me. He's thinking about learning. Around his back legs, make sure I can control his body. He's not going to overreact to that. I don't want him to think that when he's in a bind, I want him to look for me, not look to get away. So all these little things I'm doing here just to re-emphasize that I'm his buddy. I'm not trying to hurt him. It's going to be the same concept. I just want him to understand that no matter what situation he's in, he can look to me. I just want him to let me place that there, and he's thinking. If he pulls it away, I'm just going to hold real soft till he let me place it there. And hopefully, if he's thinking, he'll come forward to me, not pull it back away, is what we want. It's what I want, rather. Like that. It's where I can guide his feet kind of where I want them to be, and he'll accept that right there. It's pretty good. I don't go overboard. I don't want him to get numb to it, or dull to it. I want him to understand what I'm trying to teach him and then move on. I think there's a fine line in getting them desensitized and getting them numb, and a lot of times you have the chance to get them a little bit numb if you do too much over and over. And for the cow horse, which is hopefully where this one's headed, they cannot be numb. They have to be responsive and feely, but thinking all the same. So this is all pretty standard. Just get him to accept the saddle pad again. And like I said, this colt's pretty gentle. Do both sides. Just free his feet up right there. He was a little sticky. Some people hobble them right here or tie them up. I like to kind of feel them out, just see where their thought process is. That's my whole philosophy, is just to see what they're thinking. So I feel like without hobbling them or tying them up, I definitely hobble them, just I don't like hobbling them when I saddle them. So I can see he's licking his lips, he's accepting. He's standing still right here. It tells me he's ready to try and learn something. Always let them stand just for a minute if they will, just to be accepting of it. I'll just see how soft I can get him to walk off. I don't want him to feel that saddle and feel like he needs to run away from it. I'd like him to understand that he can still look to me for guidance if he's in trouble. Might be a little ticklish. No big deal. Just keep him moving forward. So to me, the expression on their face and their leads tell me a lot about what they're thinking. Like, he's obviously crossfiring right there. Now he's switched to the outside lead, which to me, he's just not comfortable with the saddle yet. So as soon as he flattens out and keeps his leads and the expression on his face changes, he gives me his ear back instead of kind of being more pinny-eared, then he's ready, in my opinion, to do something with. I'll let him keep going around here. There, he's quite a bit softer. See how much easier he gave there too. Send him back the other way. See if he'll let down a little bit more. There, he switched leads pretty good. His expression softer. Start to lower his head and neck. It's all things that tell me he's beginning to come around and accept what's happening to him. That's all I want. I just want him to be comfortable with me and comfortable with what I'm asking him to do. Just be fair to him. This colt's kind of like that. He's a little bit sticky. He's got some pretty decent amount of stop and always wants to draw rather than go forward. So just trying to keep him free where I can move his feet. And he is a little stud colt, so he's a little pushy and a little mouthy, but just try not to make it a huge deal. Sir. So Dennis Moreland. And I like to start them all in that. I don't like, because it's a little rash at first, you know, they kind of want to, if they get froggy or whatever, I'd hate to have a snaffle on them. I don't feel like my hands, and I don't feel like a lot of people's hands are good enough, you know, when they do something like that. If you've got to reach down and grab them, I don't want to hurt their mouth, you know. They're so young, and it's gonna take some pulling, you know, just to get them to follow their nose around. So I'd rather have this on them, no spurs, you know, and try and just kind of just ride them real loose and get them to follow their nose. I feel like this allows me to do that with quite a bit of feel, you know, without having to get to their face too early. I typically drive them around a little bit, put some driving lines on them, and drive them in the hack more where I can turn them into the fence and make sure that they're wanting to stay with me when I pull on the reins. The next thing I do when they get to this spot is I'll get on them just one side and try and get them just to accept my weight, and all the while keeping my rein short enough that I can keep hold of them. I'll just sit right here, pet on them, and then once they kind of get comfortable, you can step them forward and around, hopefully forward. Then stop them again. It's a lot of them, you know, I used to just get on halfway and off, on and off, but the impulsion stepping forward, that's when they'll usually get worried. So if I can do that, you know, off of their back where I can get off quick and still keep them confident, that's what I want. So like if he was to booger and run right here, you know, I can just step away from him and keep his butt going away, not get him or myself in a bind. But it helps them get more comfortable with forward motion. if I can just sit up here, keep their nose to the inside, and just step them forward and around. Make sure he'll stay soft. Step off. So to me now, this colt, he's ready to ride. He's still gonna be reactive and have some boogers, but jump on and see what he's thinking. So when I get up here, I just want to be real loose. Pet on him. I'm just gonna open my hand. It's just like I was still on just one side. Don't worry too much about his overreaction, just be a passenger. Swap sides, it usually swap sides, gets a little worried, no big deal. Just keep holding. He's a little worried about my feet. Just bounce him around a little bit. Make sure he's soft. Switch back the other way. The switch is where he gets ticklish like that right there. Don't make it a big deal. Just try and keep riding him. Encourage him. It's all right. Let him get out here. So I'm not trying to do a lot of steering. I'm just kind of more direction and impulsion. So if I feel like he's getting worried, I can just pull him here, use my body to send him the other way, redirect his thoughts. Then I'm just going to put him back down and get some forward motion again. Back to just being a passenger. I'm careful not to kick on them too much when they're this young. I'd rather just encourage them with the tail of a rein or with a popper, rather than trying to kick on them. I'm just going to slow him down to the inside. My hand's real wide. Might use my foot back there just to get his hips to come. I can go to his shoulder and just push his shoulder across like that. I'll just go the other way. I feel like if you go to your legs right there to try and get all that done, they can get a little bit worried because it's not real black and white. You know, they have lots of spots to put your legs. But if you just use the end of your popper, you can tell them exactly what part you want to move, whether it's shoulders or hips. It doesn't scare them. Open wide. Good. And disengage the hips. Move his shoulders. Good. Get those transitions a little bit cleaner. Right there, he's being a little pushback, just like he did when he gets sticky on the ground. It's no big deal. Just encourage that with the popper. There he goes. Just needs to free his feet up. He's not being bad. He's just hunting for what I want. No big deal. Turn him into the fence. The sand hitting the round pin kind of scared him. That's all just a chance for me to get him used to it all. Go the other way. I like colts like this rather than the ones that you don't have to spank on. Because usually these ones, when you get them freed up, are the real raidy, real stoppy kind. The ones that just want to run and you're always trying to slow down. Those are more your head horse, barrel horse kinds to me. Just make sure he's soft. Make sure I can pull. Move his shoulders. Perfect. These babies, I don't like to give them long, hard, breathing pretty hard. Still doing quite a bit of groundwork before you just get on them, so try and keep it pretty simple for them. Usually at the end, I'll try and use one rein then the other and see if I can just back him up. I'll just flutter my legs at him. Just get a step. Just pick right back up. Just get a step. One more. There he goes. I'm just gonna bend his head to me so I keep him and I safe. Get him soft. Step off of him. And right there, I like to wait and just make sure he's still thinking about me. Try again tomorrow.